Clerk, please call roll.
Adams.
Here.
Marley.
Here.
Cook. Here. Hopkins. Lonergan.
Here.
Odell. Scott.
Here.
Wampel. Here. Womaski. Here. Williams. Mayor Isaac.
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Lee.
Here. Yeah. Well, welcome everyone. First up under the mayor's report is to discuss the closed captioning letter of support. Myself, Lisa Mush from the Chamber of Commerce. We have been working with these fine folks for, what, a year now? Paula, over a year?
What? Yes, it has been, we're 1 year old now, she said, that's great.
And that San Francisco Giant thing caught me off guard there, but anyway.
I'm so sorry. Very sorry.
That's an inside joke between her and I. You know, we've gone back and forth. You might have seen the letter that Dee put out last week through the Chamber of Commerce. And we're just kind of going off that letter of Jacksonville needs to step it up as far as doing something a little bit more than other communities, because we do have a great deaf community in our town, 400 plus, correct?
Correct.
And I think this resolution really shows that, hey, the city's on board, and we're big supporters, and let's become equal. So I would entertain Jeannie or Raymond or Paula or Dee to talk if you want the floor. No?
Dee's like, I'm not sure how I went before. All right, said I can speak to that. Should I stand up? Stand. You can't see now. There we go. Sorry. All right. First of all, I appreciate you all, the support and the resolution. Basically for it to be on TVs around town. It's been frustrating for a long time. Even since ADA came into existence, we still had to be, the constant reminder every time we come into a new establishment, when we go somewhere to eat or get a drink or just to go enjoy ourselves, we usually have to stay for them to come and turn it on. So I appreciate the heads up that the full support that we feel like we've gotten from our city. Anything else you want to add? Paul said, yes, it is actually an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be in Jacksonville. The vision of Jacksonville, Raymond's saying, I think is, we want to be one of the friendliest states, or the friendliest city, in the state of Illinois, and I think we're getting there. We're seeing more and more backing, so we're really excited. Thank you. Paul was saying, the reason I asked Ray, because this actually was his baby.
Yep.
He started this, so it was his baby, and really the support that we're all getting from the city of Jacksonville. We have the chapter, Illinois Association of Untitled Chapter. It started with us, kind of getting our thoughts together. I believe the mayor, you had said, well, why don't we start the open communication movement, or something similar to that. So we did, and so we've been working on that, and now he's with us, working on the same page, and we have the same goals. And we're seeing things get done.
Well, there's a lot more to do, and we'll keep working hard together.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So is the chamber gonna be mailing out individual letters
Yep.
to all the businesses?
They already did, I got 2 of them this week.
They already did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Mrs. D. Was it 500 we said? Yes, we got 5 back, I believe. But she actually sent out 444 of them. These are our local businesses, ones that are members of the chamber. I got 5 that came back to me. I'm not sure if I got the wrong address, wrong number, what it is, but that was fine. Regarding the resolution, actually I'll talk about that later.
think it's a goal of all of ours to put Jacksonville on the map as far as educating folks, and I think we're on the right track, and we'll just keep working hard at it.
Our town, I believe, is gonna shine, do you think? Yeah, we're gonna shine.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, that resolution's on the agenda in the regular meeting. City clerk's report.
This is more of an FYI for everyone. We're not ready to do anything yet, but we want to throw this out. Lori and I, first of all, Lori had a conversation with 3 members of area-wide sanitation out of Peoria. Matt Coulter being the president, he stopped in, then he ran over here and then Lori called me and said, hey, they're on their way to be ready. So anyway, they came in. They own a recycling plant in Peoria. They take all of the recycling from Jacksonville and wherever else they do recycle, they take it to their own plant. They get charged $70 a ton to dump that recycling off at their plant, and then it's separated, and then they get paid for whatever the price is for whatever weight. Unfortunately, glass is your heaviest commodity, and glass is at zero cost to them or revenue for them. So therefore they lose money because they're putting $70 a ton, and then glass probably weighs half of that due to the rest of it. So they have come to us, and I don't have the paperwork. Mr. Beard has the paperwork, and I think Lori got the paperwork, but they didn't get it to me, what their proposal is. But from what they told me, basically we're gonna go back to 1995. Joe Buster and a group, Bruce Surratt, myself, Mayor, Tendy, all sat around and got this recycling thing started. And they took aluminum, they took cardboard, they took newspaper and print paper, things like that, and they took plastics 1 and 2. And if you know what that means, at the bottom of a plastic, there's a number at the bottom, and they'll tell you 1 through 7, I think. Anyway, they did add tin cans during that time, and then they started doing colored glass and clear glass and everything else. So now what they want to do is basically go back to the beginning and say we're only going to do number 1 and 2 plastic, aluminum cans and tin cans, and then the paper and the other. Lori and I have talked, and we have not talked to them about, well, what we're paying about $85,000 a year, supplementing, because they don't make a lot of money on picking up that recycling. I don't know where our percentages are as far as how many people are recycling in Jacksonville, but it was around 30%. Actually, it was a little less than 30%. They pick up twice a month, and they have had communities that have canceled their recycling program due to the fact that most of this stuff is going into the landfills anyway, and that's what's happening. There's not a lot of money for them to make in aluminum and tin and the cardboards and things like that. They do make a little bit, but not enough probably to stay in business. So just wanted to bring the council up to date on that. That's where they are. I'll have more information when I get the actual letters from them, and then we might have them come down and talk to you if that's what you wish. But the bottom line is, do we want to ask, and Dan's looking into whether or not we can get out of the contract that we're with them, if we can amend the contract so that we can spend less than the $85,000. And so that's kind of where we're at with it.
Go back to 1995 prices.
Well, yeah, that'd be nice. But
So the $85,000 a year contract was for how long?
that was a
5 years.
I got the contract, I think 5 year. I've got the contract right here.
But if we get out of it, it's going to go up.
17 to 22 was a 5-year contract. Well, that's just it, they provided, the reason they wanted 5 years is because they were spending, I don't know what each one of those big bins cost, but they were putting out several of the big bins, and I think that they said that they put out something like 1,700 or, I don't know, they had 2,500.
But it was 5-year contract at a certain rate per year.
Correct. Yeah. And then, of course, they can add on gas if gas prices go up and that sort of thing, so. Anyway, we'll get a copy of the letter to you, what their proposals are, and then we'll probably have to sit down with them and see what we can negotiate out. But Lori's kind of on board with me, if we're gonna drop a lot of this, maybe we should drop it all. But getting back into the business when prices go back up, we don't know if they're gonna go back up. They were down the last time we talked this contract. The glass was paying $20 a ton. They were paying $70 a ton to put it into the recycling, and they were making $20 a ton on it. Now they're making 0. So the prices are going down.
Do we know what communities have dropped this?
I do not. He just said there were 2 or 3, and he named them, but I didn't write them down. It was a quick meeting. They were supposed to get back with me with their letter, their proposal, and what they were gonna request. Dan's got that information, and as soon as he gets back, we'll talk to him a little bit more.
But don't forget, I asked them when we were doing the contract, when we started the contract. I asked them about, because I read about the glass prices not being good. And they said they wanted to keep glass in there, so that when the price goes up again, they didn't wanna mess with it. So if they try to get out of a contract that they signed for 5 years, it's kind of on them.
Well, yeah, they're making an adjustment or a change in the contract, so therefore, yeah, they're amending it, so maybe we should amend it also. Again, I had the same conversation with them with regard to glass. They didn't want to drop it at the time.
So is their contract up?
No,
So how are
2022.
they gonna amend it without our approval?
They're asking us, they're not telling us, okay? What's gonna happen is that they're gonna try to educate the people not to put the glass in there, but they're still gonna tell us what's in there. Okay? And the plastic the same way. But all of that stuff will end up being kicked out and taken to the landfill anyway, unfortunately. But when there's no price for the commodities, there's no value to them there.
So they're amending the contract?
No, they're informing us of what they would like to do, what they feel that, but we don't have to do
Until
anything.
2022.
Right. So, I'll get with Dan as soon as he gets back, and we'll take a look at what they're offering, Lori and I, and he will sit down and see what we can and cannot do, and then we'll get back to you. But I just wanted to let you know that that's in the works. That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, good. Planning and Public Works, Alderman Scott.
2 items. Discuss request to rezone property located at 1723 West Morton from PD Mix to PD Mix with special use. I was not at the meeting.
Okay.
Is that for the car wash?
Yeah, that's for the car wash
right?
in front of Hampton, next to Applebee's. We're gonna put a car wash there. There's going to be an entrance, the same entrance into Hampton, and then there'll be 2 entrances into the car wash from that side. And there'll be one actually entrance from Applebee's. So there'll be 3 ways to get into the car wash.
But nothing new from Morton.
No more exits or curb cuts.
That's something they have to work out with the IDOT if they want.
Yeah, but they're not, they've already got what they need, so they're fine. The car wash will actually go north and south, so you'll be going all the way to the south, entering in from the south and coming through the car wash, exiting and then going into an area for vacuums and cleaning. And they'll have 5 people working daily, and they'll have people at the end that will wipe down your car.
Do we know whether they're gonna widen that driveway going to the Hansons?
No, they're not.
That's all private property.
I think we missed the boat getting into that business. Randy. The car wash business.
Yeah.
We should've got into that business.
I didn't know about it, I'm sorry.
Still can, get your businesses out, you can do that.
Yeah, they'll have monthly pass or monthly subscriptions, just like they do down at Jiffy, but they'll be a little bit more expensive, $25, $35, and $45, I think is what he estimated. Yeah, it's gonna create a few more jobs and fill up that hole. It's been a hole there for a long time.
That's right.
Second item was discuss request to rezone property located at 1201 Allen from R5 to R3.
You want me to take that one too?
That'd be great.
This is property that's owned by Dean Turner. He's an employee for the city of Jacksonville, street department. And Dean owned a house at 1201. He owns a house around the corner that he lives in. And he sold that property to someone. They eventually didn't make any payments and blah, blah. It's taken him 2 years to get control of the property. And by the time he got control of it, a tree had gone through the roof, and he basically had to just level the house and put it back to a lot. Now he wants to take and bring in a modular home, I don't know if it's a duplex, double wide or whatever, and put on there, and either his son or another relative will be living in it. But he needed it was R5, and he wants to take it back to an R3.
Inside the city limits?
Mhm.
I thought we didn't do modular homes in the city.
I don't know if it's a modular or whatever, it's a double wide,
It's like a prefab.
not prefab. But anyway, it passed unanimously, both of these passed unanimously. It's a piece of property that will end up going on the tax rolls.
Have we done any other prefab houses in town?
Yep.
Oh,
Appleby Farms
on
Road.
my street,
There's gotta be.
Mr. Potasik's, Coach Grounds, they're all prefab, it's on my street.
Just out on the Appleby Farms Road deal. That was real fun. But a long time ago.
Okay.
Anyway.
So it's nothing new though?
No.
Okay.
No. That's all,
Okay,
Mr. Scott.
thank you. Public protection, what's this one? I don't have Mr. Hopkins. You wanna take this, Alderman Bartlett? Public protection? Huh?
I'm
Put
gonna
you on the spot.
defer to-
Alderman Cook?
I'm gonna defer to chief.
Good route. Chief?
So, when I took over, the police department under its structure has a spot for 5 sergeants on the police department. I chose not to fill that sergeant spot over the last few years to staff the department in other places, also save the salary from the sergeant position. However, because we've been so short-handed recently, we've never been to full staff. We're getting ready to lose a couple more officers to deployment, to the military. We're gonna lose one of our command staff right now is currently out, which is gonna lead to the reason why, I'll get to my point here, why I want to promote someone, I want to utilize that 5th sergeant spot, is because when we shift bid in November for our 2020 shifts, it would leave one shift short a supervisor, because we have a lieutenant that's gonna be going out on workman's comp and not scheduled to return until at least July of 2020. What that does is it leaves one of my 4 shifts with only one supervisor. So I will have to promote a sergeant to acting lieutenant. I will not promote that sergeant to a lieutenant. They will just be acting lieutenant. By contract, after 30 days, it's retroactive. They'll receive first-year lieutenant's pay. So it's still, that lieutenant, or that acting lieutenant would not be able to, so to speak, take any time off or vacation time without me paying time and a half for a supervisor to come back and cover that shift. So if you look at roughly all the average days off of our supervisors, we're looking at between 30 and 35 days off that I have to pay somebody time and a half, which is roughly $54 an hour for 12-hour shifts to cover that shift. Or I can promote within the department and not hire back another officer for about another additional $2.50 an hour. So I take that patrolman, promote him to sergeant for $2.50 an hour over the term of the whole year versus paying that time and a half every time that supervisor wants to take off. Plus, it allows that supervisor not to have to work by themselves for a full year. Because we don't have like an officer in charge. Our department always has to have somebody of rank, which is sergeant or above, on duty during 24-hour period. So in order to keep our shifts at full staff with the operating people we have, I'm asking to make that promotion to bring that fifth sergeant out of the bullpen, so to speak. And with that said, once that lieutenant returns to work in July, we've got a lot of top-heavy people that have 20-plus years on there looking to come into their retirement age. I will not try to hold on to that fifth sergeant once we're back at full command staff. So we would lose that. I can't demote that person once I promoted him, but I would let it go away through attrition like I did in the beginning of when I took over.
Somebody retires.
So if somebody retires, we would promote to lieutenant, and then we would revert back to our fourth sergeant position and let the fifth sergeant go on hold again. I wouldn't be asking this if it wasn't for exigent circumstances, or we were gonna have, if it was just gonna be a month or two, we can make some concessions and move some people around. For instance, right now, Sean Walker's out for 8 weeks with a broken hand. Eric Hansel stepped down from his night shift to cover a day shift so we could get some late season vacations covered, which left our night shift sergeant by himself for those times. And then in November, when Sean comes back, Eric will go back to his night shift, but we'll still be short one command staff until July of next year. But with promoting utilizing that fifth sergeant for that time frame would fulfill all those slots.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Chief.
Any questions for Chief Mefford? Okay.
One question, you said there were lieutenants looking at the 20-year mark. What time frame are we looking at that sergeant position to become, how long, 6 months, 8 months?
Well,
a
I
year
know-
probably max?
Once we put the fifth sergeant in the position, which would probably take effect, that sergeant would take effect sometime in late November, early December for the shift bid for next year. I know that the person that's out right now with a surgery is going to be out until July of next year. Then we have a couple of lieutenants who already have 20-plus years on that are approaching their 50th birthday. I'm not gonna shove them out the door or anything like that, but those are the ages when officers start to look at something else. If we had to go, we may have to go a year holding that fifth sergeant, but there's plenty of areas of responsibility that I can plug that person into, because we're not increasing the overall staff of the department. So in real dollars, you're only talking a couple of $1,000s a year versus putting a whole new person on staff for full salary, benefits, and retirement.
So notice you had 9 months, you're covering 9 months plus whatever overtime that's gonna be involved with all that.
Right, we won't have to incur overtime on that particular shift that's shorthanded by placing that fifth sergeant on that shift.
So that fifth sergeant position would be, you're looking at a year, maybe 6 months to a year and a half max?
It could be, it depends on when the next individual
Depends on somebody
retires.
retires.
But, or you're looking at, I say that the one individual that's out right now had surgery this week, he's looking at not returning to work until July. I know we have another sergeant that needs another ankle surgery, so they're looking to be out for at least another 4 months. So if that person waits till July to have their surgery to keep our staffing levels up, then we're looking at another 4 months down the road, so we're 10 months out, so we'll utilize every bit of that fifth sergeant.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Just one thing, do you think there'll be any questions in the main meeting for me?
You need to go.
I'm going to go to my son's birthday party, but Sergeant Lonergan will be here for any issues if you need anything.
If those two back there have any questions, they'll grab me. I talked to you this afternoon.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Council,
Chief.
thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Chief. Just bring me a piece of cake tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Utility Alderman Walkle.
Just one item tonight, discuss wastewater treatment plant blower repair. Basically, this is not a maintenance item, this is something that the blower motor actually caught fire, and they caught it quick enough. to where they can just replace that. However, it's pretty costly. We have one bid that we would like to accept of $29,276 from Gain Electric here in Jacksonville. Any questions?
We'll adjourn the workshop and we'll go into the big room. Thank you. And I'd like to ask the clerk to please call roll.
Adams,
Here.
Bartlett. Here. Cook,
Here.
Hopkins, Lonergan,
Here.
Odenell. Scott. Here. Wankel,
Here.
Wormowski. Williams. Mayor Ezra.
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Veith. Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a reading of the minutes this evening? Alderman Scott, second by Alderman Adams. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any petitions this evening?
No petitions.
And communications?
We have two communications. Request for the closing of Edge Hill from Lincoln Avenue to Park Street on October 26th from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. for the homecoming festivities for Illinois College. We do this every year, 2 times a year, 3 times a year, something like that. Homecoming, opening of school and closing of school, right? The second one is from the Centenary United Methodist Church, the annual trunk or treat, Sunday, October 20th. They'd like to have Eby Street from College to Morgan and Morgan Street from Clay to Eby be closed from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, this is another one of those that we've done on an annual basis and never been any problems. Council's okay with it, we'll let them know that we'll get it set up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Claims. The claims are in the hands of the alderman tonight. Is there a motion to pay claims? Alderman Cook, second by Alderman Wankel.
Actually, I have a question about claims.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't get to talk to Skip before the meeting. Is there anything about the earth moving that happened at Movastar Lake? I don't know if there was any,
That I'm aware of, Steve.
because I was out at the lake the other day and I noticed there was a new boat launch that was put in.
I saw that too, and I don't know anything about it.
Okay, because
The white rock that's.
yeah, because like there was no discussion on it. We applied for the state grant and just wondering like where it came from and how we paid for it or how any of that's
I don't
happening.
know anything about it, yeah. I just saw it out there myself when we were out there at the golf course, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the park people just decided to do it themselves or maybe a private citizen did it.
Private citizen, okay, that'd be good.
I don't know why. They
We'll
got
find
a
out,
perfectly good ramp over there where they're at. I mean, for no more than what they.
Yeah, because I just looked at him, it's like, I thought we applied for a grant to do this, and then all of a sudden it happened,
It'd be a
so,
little bit nicer than that,
okay.
for 200,000.
Okay, mayor's report.
Wait, sorry, I
Sorry.
stopped you from voting on the claims.
Yeah, we gotta have a
Voice vote.
voice vote. All those in favor of paying claims, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's report. Item number 1 is reappointment of Katie Weeks, Mary Ferguson, and Noel Beard to the Jacksonville Library Board of Trustees, terms to expire October 1st, 2022. And is there a motion for those three? Alderman Aaron Scott, second by Alderman Adams.
If I could just add, the library recently expanded their hours to Sunday hours. And they do a great job with their budget and everything like that, and that board is doing a fantastic job.
Yep, I agree, Steve.
Have you talked with them about airing the movie that you had, the IML code?
Not
for?
yet.
I know. Roll call.
And I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Adams,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Lonergan,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Wankel,
Yes.
Wormowski,
Yes.
motion passes.
Great. Item number 2 is the resolution of support for the closed captioning. And we've gone through this in the workshop, and thank you for all the work that you've done. Raymond's hard to say no to. And all of you, no, it's a good group. We get along very well, and it's a pleasure working with you. So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Adams, second by Alderman Wormowski. And discussion? Yeah. Tom, sorry.
Be it resolved that the city expresses its strong support for the efforts of the OCM committee to accomplish the activation of closed captioning on TVs in Jacksonville businesses, and encourages all places of public accommodation in the city to activate closed captioning on their televisions in furtherance of the OCM committee efforts.
Any discussion? Yes, Steve.
I'd just like to say that I mentioned it in workshop, but I received a letter through the Chamber of Commerce. They send it out to all the businesses in town, and I'm really glad that we're taking this effort to educate businesses in town about the existing law through the American Disabilities Act. So just like to thank the mayor. I know he's had lots of meetings and lots of discussion, and appreciate his effort on this.
Thank you. And I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Lonergan,
Yes.
Scott, Wankel,
Yes.
Wormowski. Adams,
Yes.
motion passes.
Very good. City clerk's report this evening.
Do they have anything?
You don't have anything.
No. The city clerk's reports are the reports that you get in the mail. If there's any question on any of them, you can stop by and we can discuss it. Thank you.
And any public comment at this time? Yes, sir.
Want me to go up there?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Help yourself, sir.
Hi, hello. I'm a local student at Illinois College here. I came here because for a project in my U.S. federal government class, we have to do a thing called civic engagement, where we have to engage with an organization outside of the college. So I chose the city council. And I emailed some woman who asked for a meeting for the mayor. So that's how I would essentially get an A on the project, is to meet with the mayor, or any politician really, but I chose the mayor. So I would like to know if you're available next month, next month, anytime soon. You could come to the college, I could come back here or wherever your office is, and we could meet, and I just ask you a few questions. But I do have a few questions for anyone who would take them. We need one of you to sign a piece of paper for proof that I was here, and I would need to take a selfie with one of you or just the whole group for proof that I was here. What is the core mission or purpose of City Council in Jacksonville?
Oh, boy.
City council is like Congress of the city.
Right.
Actually, Colin Gwillem, who's a student at IC, met with me last week. He might be in your one of the classes. If you remember his dad, Kurt Gwillem, that used to be a banker in town for years. Colin met with me for about a half hour last week, and I had to sign a piece of paper for Colin, and we didn't take a picture, but I think the core mission for the council and the mayor is just to have a better life for folks in Jacksonville. Public safety is number one. That's, 70% of our budget as far as, just people living in this town being, safe, recreational opportunities. Jacksonville should be a place where eventually, I hope my kids live here and grow their families here. That's, I think, the core group of our council. So just vibrant life and things to do, and there you go. We hope that someday when you graduate from Illinois College, that you work and live here, and you'll be part of the community and maybe be an alderman. That's our mission.
Thank you. And one last question. How does this organization enhance the local community? Obviously by making laws, but can you expand more on that?
All right, Alderman, help me out here.
I've been looking at doing things to help the community as far as internet broadband, trying to get some support for solar initiatives to help green our government here, because the taxpayers pay the city light bill. So anything that we could do to help with that, that's kind of the important things that the council does. A lot of it is just taking care of the day-to-day business that comes in front of us. And that includes just any kind of repairs or assistance to projects or anything that comes up on complaints from the city's departments. There's utilities, public protection, parks and lakes, and special studies. And the chairs of these are all here tonight.
Okay, thank you.
But if you ever want to come in and discuss with me, young man, I'd be happy to sit down with you and we can go more in depth, and
okay,
I'm very available.
Okay, I'll email you. She CC.
No.
No,
You
don't
just
email
come
you?
in. No,
Just
you
come
can
in?
email me. I'm joking.
So can I take that picture now?
Sure.
Great.
Yes. Where are you from, sir?
Peoria, Illinois.
Well, I know Mayor Artis very well, and he's got his work cut out in Peoria. Yeah. What high school?
Manual.
All right, let's go on.
Manual. Basketball tradition there. So we'll get it.
Someone can take it for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll sit down here. This is the guys on tonight.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. It was delayed, yeah, sorry. One, two. Did it flash that time?
Yep, sure did.
Got it.
Thank you.
You guys stand up there. They'd like to have a picture with you guys, just so.
We would love it.
While you're still there.
I want one too. I want one too.
You don't? No, not you. Yeah, you just come up.
I guess I'm one another pair of hands.
All right.
Looks like she.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Consent agenda items tonight, finance, IT, and personnel. Alderman Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have 2 items tonight. The first one is a resolution authorizing payments from the Capital Improvement Fund for certain improvement projects. The second item is a resolution authorizing payments from the General Fund for services rendered.
Public protection, Alderman Bartlett.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have one today, a motion requesting the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to make a promotion in the Jacksonville Police Department from patrolman to sergeant.
And Utility, Alderman Walkle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 items tonight. Number 1, resolution authorizing payments from the Waterworks and Sewages Projects Fund for services rendered improvement projects. Number 2, resolution approving a quote for the wastewater treatment plant blower repair, and I so move.
Is there a second? Alderman Cook, you've heard the items under the consent agenda this evening. Is there any wish to pull for further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Cook,
Yes.
Lonergan,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Wankel,
Yes.
Wormowski,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Bartlett.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Committee reports this evening. Planning and Public Works, Alderman Scott.
Thank you. We have 2 items tonight. The first one, first reading of an ordinance amending the Jacksonville zoning map for property located at 1723 West Morton Avenue from PD mix to PD mix with special use. And I so move.
And is there a second? Alderman Wankel.
Be it ordained that the Jacksonville zoning map for property located at 1723 West Morton Avenue be amended, changing the zoning classification from planning development district or PD district to PD mix plan development district with special use.
Thank you. Discussion? I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Lonergan,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Wankel,
Yes.
Wormowski,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our second item is first reading of an ordinance amending the Jacksonville zoning map for property located at 1201 Allen from R5 to R3. And I shall move.
Is there a second? Alderman Lonergan.
Be it ordained that the Jacksonville zoning map for property located at 1201 Allen Avenue be amended, changing the zoning classification from R5 multiple family dwelling district to R3 one family dwelling district.
Any discussion on this? Seeing none, I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Scott,
Yes.
Wankel,
Yes.
Wormowski,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Lonergan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. Any old business tonight?
I had some old business. We had the emergency session to discuss the cannabis tax, and I'd still like to look at, looking at alcohol and tobacco, since all 3 of them are going to be 21, January 21st. And like I said at the emergency session, if a tax is to discourage bad behavior, then we can't sit here and put the max tax on cannabis and have nothing for alcohol.
Any other discussion? Any new business this evening?
I had some of that as well. I went out to the lake and saw the new trail out there. It looks great. I know Halloween is coming up, and we usually shut our lake down around right before Halloween, but Root House does a Halloween hayride tour haunted house thing. They used to, and when I was out there looking at that, that'd be something to think about utilizing for like a haunted hayride or heart walk or something more inclusive with a place to go do something out there just besides being a trail. So I just wanted to add that as well, as it looks great and we can enjoy it for the next week.
I guess, speaking about the lake, I went out there, I guess Alderman Old Meadow's not here, but one of the things I saw, the trail is complete, but one thing I noticed is that there's some barriers put up. It's fencing, not fencing, kind of like a guardrail that was put up on the curves on the path. And I checked with Benton and Associates, and that wasn't in the original plan. So I don't know if anyone knows like why those are put in, because the first thing I saw when I saw that was if a kid or someone like that doesn't take that curve,
they're gonna run right into the railing. So I was wondering if maybe we could have Dan or someone review if that's a good thing for safety, since it wasn't in the engineering plans for the path.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll have to call Brett and see why that was, but.
So it's in a couple spots. It's like right along the road on north side before it goes in behind the fence where they close it off for the winter.
Yep.
There's a curve that goes kind of near the lake road, and there's a guardrail there. It's a wooden guardrail, and then later on when you get, no, it's completely separate. It's just on the curve, and then when you get down to the end of the path too, there's the same thing. There's like a guardrail or fence along the edge, like right where the old Westlake Road is close. So I was just concerned, since it wasn't in the original plan, why it was put in. There wasn't any discussion anywhere and for the money or anything like that, so.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, because my main thing is safety for people using the trail. So if we could have some sort of review, make sure there's nothing out there that could hurt someone.
Anybody know? I mean, Kelly or Brett? Yep. Yep. Okay, any other new business?
And following up on the IML conference, and then just talk really quick with the mayor and with the city clerk. Part of the conference was the Illinois Municipal League Conference in Chicago. They had a movie called All the Queen's Horses. It was about a clerk, is it?
City clerk.
It was a clerk / treasurer. I think they put all the jobs on one person and all the responsibilities. Nobody's watching her, and she stole like more than $50 million. So I think it was a professor from DePaul University did a documentary on this, and as part of going to IML, we got a code where we can have a public showing of it. So I was going to work with some of the city officials to get a location, maybe sometime in November, and have a night where people can watch the movie and we could be available to ask questions and things like that if anything comes up from the community.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic, the movie.
It's on PBS or?
I think you can get Netflix. Netflix.
It was on Netflix, so it's not on Netflix anymore, but.
We're gonna keep a close eye on this guy, though. And I only have 300 in my checking account right now, so hey, I'm joking.
300 horses? How many horses, though?
Horses, yeah, a couple in Louisville. Anyway.
And I guess the last thing.
I agree with you, Steve.
Okay.
We should do something that's a pretty dramatic movie on how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I noticed, the city sent out an email on Thursday at 5:30. The fire department is showing off the new fire trucks.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
You can say it again.
I think it's a great thing. 5:30, we're going to have the unveiling of our new fire trucks. You've probably seen the stories about it in the paper and stuff, but you know the council made a big time call last year and taking that big step, and I appreciate the city council's thinking on that. And there's more to come on there. There's some surprises on as naming that we've been working with a business in town, and I don't want to steal Chief Sill's thunder, but
one's named Andy and the other's named Ezard.
No. No. But it's pretty cool. So 5:30 Thursday evening, and can't wait for it.
And if I could rain on the parade a little bit, just a mention to the for budgeting next year. I think when we talked about buying the fire trucks, I think it worked out to be about $120,000 a year is what we need to set aside in some way, so that every 10 years we could buy a new fire truck. So hopefully when we do the budget next spring, we'll have some money set aside in some way to start planning for when we need to replace the next fire truck in 10 years. Or however the budget process needs to work, but we need to be thinking about that every year. And I guess speaking about money too, on Tuesday, last Thursday, the police and fire pension boards had their meeting. And that was the meeting where they discussed the results from 2018 investments and how much the city has to put into for funding for next year. So it's something we're going to be working on the next couple weeks, but basically we're going to have to give as much money as we did last year in additional contributions, plus another $250,000 to meet the state funding requirements for it's 90% funded by 2040. So police pension fund will need an extra $1.3 million approximately, and the fire pension fund will need a little bit over $1 million extra contribution made to it. So that's something we'll be working on. Sorry to bring it, have a sad ending.
We've got two out there, we gotta take care of these guys, so. Any other new business? I appreciate you coming, sir, from Illinois College. I appreciate everybody being in attendance tonight, and I'll ask a motion to adjourn. Alderman Cook, second by Alderman Lonergan. We are adjourned.